In 2008, at home in New Jersey, Sherry Lynn was invited to open a show for one of her musical heroes. Since that time, she's been hard at work pursuing a career in country music, which is now paying off. Last year, she debuted at the Grand Ole Opry singing her duet, A Beautiful Life with Crystal Gayle. And now she's celebrating the success of her most recent track, Girls Will Be Girls, off her latest album. Kelly caught up with Sherry Lynn during a visit to Nashville to learn all about her new music.
In the studio today with Sherry Lynn talking about her new album, It's a Beautiful Life, and it is a beautiful life. Love the title.
Well, thank you. It was actually supposed to be titled something else, so it's going to be So Much More, one of the songs that was on there, and we kind of changed it last year.
Oh, wow. So how did that come about?
Well, when I first started coming to Nashville, I have 5 children, so my sister-in-law and my brother would help me watch my kids, and my sister-in-law passed away right before we were getting ready to get the album all packaged up, and so I actually sat there and I was looking at the program from the funeral, and it said A Beautiful Life, and it was actually one of the songs that I had on the CD was called Beautiful Life, so I thought it was the perfect title. It was like kind of a tribute to her.
Oh, wow, that's special. So she helped you with your children,
yes.
And so I'm sure that was a hard time to try to adjust, and you still got here, and
yes.
You've been very busy.
Yes.
You've CMA Fest, Grand Ole Opry debut, and you got to sing a duet on there with Crystal Gayle. Tell me about that.
Well, that is actually the title track. Beautiful Life is the duet with Crystal Gayle, and I actually opened for Crystal in 2008. That was the first time I met her. So, you know, who'd have thought in 2012 I'd have been singing a duet with her, and then, you know, in 2013, singing on the Grand Ole Opry. I mean, it's been amazing. Crystal's an amazing person.
So your producer on this album is Ted Hewitt.
Yep.
And Ted produced If You're Going Through Hell for Rodney Atkins and all of his hits. So how did you connect with Ted?
I actually connected with Ted through a songwriting friend of mine, Eden Langworthy. He lives in Florida, and we started writing together over the internet. And that's actually how I first started to come to Nashville, because he's like, if you want to be in country music, he's like, you have to go to Nashville. And at that time, Ted was doing demos for him. So he introduced me to Ted, and I was in the middle of recording a CD in New Jersey, and I came here and I finished it with Ted. And it was right before If You're Going Through Hell broke. And as soon as that song, that album broke, it was like, hey, I was already in with Ted, so
good for you.
Doing this next album, made it all more special, because at that point it gave me the opportunity to have such amazing, huge songwriters on there.
So like what she's saying is you get better songs
yes.
when you're working and you've already had an album and you have some experience.
Yes, and having Rodney Atkins have 6 number 1s in a row didn't hurt for songwriters sending the songs to Ted. So he was passing them over to me, and when he was telling me, oh my, these songs by, Karen Rochelle and Edward Monroe Hill and, Danny Wells, one of the writers on A Beautiful Life, wrote Check Yes or No along with so many other hits. And it was like, this time around, that's what I wanted to compile this album of. All the number 1 hit makers, because I could have sat there and wrote, the album. I've written a few songs on my last album, but this time I wanted to go after the big songwriters and, record their music instead.
And you did, which brings me to the single, the current single. I saw the video, Girls Will Be Girls. Love it.
Thank you.
What a fun song, and so true. I mean, you obviously could identify.
I can, and when Ted brought me the song, he was like, this is an awesome song, you gotta listen to it. And I was like, I can cut this song? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh my God, this is an awesome song, because, hey, what little girl hasn't, played in their mom's makeup, hasn't went to school and changed their clothes from the outfit they left the house in so their parents wouldn't see it. So it's really a song that you can relate to.
Good for you. It's awesome to see strong women, successful women. Proud of you. This is great. Make sure you get a copy of her CD. And thanks for chatting with me today.
Thank you so much for having me out here. Had a great time.
We're now out of time for this week's show, but don't forget those special autographed copies of A Beautiful Life we have up for grabs from Sherry Lynn. This includes her duet with Crystal Gayle. If you want to enter this week's drawing, head on over to InsideMusicRow.com to get signed up. You can also check us out online at Zeus.com, along with all your favorite music videos and any genre. The free app is available, so you can take us with you wherever you go. Make sure that you come back next week for all of our CMA Music Fest coverage. It's a show you won't want to miss. We'll leave you with this week's artist on the rise. Here is Carissa Lee with her latest Bad Boys. Until next time, I'm Kelly Sutton for Inside Music Row. I'll see you again real soon.